As we continue our travels from Kanyakumari to Kashmir with a special election series, Dhabas of Democracy, we are now live on the ground in Wayanad, a seat of considerable interest because Rahul Gandhi is a sitting member of parliament from here amid intense speculation as to whether he will remain a member of parliament from here or whether once the election in Kerala is over, he might consider a return to contesting from Amethi. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. We have continued to bring you ground reports from different parts of India. We began our journey in Kanyakumari, made our way to Trivandrum, then Coimbatore, and here we are in Wayanad, Kerala, where the CPI's Annie Raja is taking on Rahul Gandhi vociferously. In fact, the Kerala election has exposed the fault lines between the left and the Congress. Even in Thiruvananthapuram, Shashi Tharoor says the communists are attacking him more than they're attacking the BJP or the Prime Minister. He said this in an interview to me. Meanwhile, the BJP is mocking Rahul Gandhi for not having declared a candidature from Amethi. In fact, the Congress has declared no candidates at all from either Amethi or Raebareli. Smriti Irani, who is a sitting member of parliament from Amethi, in a speech said that she was sure that once the election in Wayanad was over, Rahul Gandhi would contest from Amethi. This leaves the Congress in a conundrum in both places, Amethi and Wayanad. In Amethi, the voters might think you lost once and you left us. In Wayanad, they might think we sent you to parliament and you're leaving us. We don't actually know what's going to happen. There's no official word from the Congress yet. But let's look at the politics of both Wayanad and Amethi and what Rahul Gandhi might do. How important is it for him and for some member of the Gandhi family, perhaps his sister, to contest from Raebareli and Amethi? Or is this just media hype? Let's introduce our guests on the program today as we look at this very intriguing subject right from the epicenter of the debate, Wayanad itself. You can see behind me, of course, our vehicle emblazoned with the words Dhabas of Democracy. No dhaba today. We had to stop where the network was. But nevertheless, let me introduce our guest, Sandip Ghose, who's, of course, I love introducing him as a supporter of the Prime Minister, but not always of the government or the party. Welcome to the program. Abhijit, Iyer, Mitra, another very interesting person who, in a soon-to-be released podcast, defines himself as right of center, but doesn't mean he agrees with everything the BJP or the government does. So we have two contrarian right of center guests today. Also joining us is Sanjay, a loyal supporter of the Congress, even though he continues to be described as a suspended Congress spokesperson. Why does his party treat him like this? Will he still keep the flag flying high, or does it free him to talk a little more honestly about what's happening within the party? And finally, joining us is Dilip Cherian. He's a brand and image guru. He's a political communications specialist, and he's always spoken about how the Congress could be heading towards a kind of crisis if it doesn't do something about how it's communicating, how it's setting or not setting the narrative. A very warm welcome to all of you. Let me get the ball rolling by playing out for you what Rahul Gandhi said when he was actually asked this question. He, in fact, said that even to ask him about Amethi was what he called a BJP question. Listen in. Okay, so Rahul Gandhi is calling this question a BJP question. So I don't know if I'll be called a BJP platform today, which makes for a nice change given the names I usually get called by some BJP supporters. Let's start with Sanjay Jha. Is it a BJP question to wonder what's going to happen in the heartland? You know, Amethi, Raebareli, the suspense is alive because I guess everybody's waiting for the Kerala election to get over. Do you think that's good strategy, Sanjay?
Barkha, first in lighter vein, because you are doing this journey from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, you're actually doing Bharat Joro Yatra Part 2. So you're actually more of a Congress supporter, more visibly
No,
than,
no, 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 no. I
uh,
refuse to be owned by any of you. And I remain fiercely contrarian, even more than Abhijit and Sandeep and Dilip. You're not contrarian, but the other three are, and I am even more so. But do go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, but Barkha, I'm going to add to that. Since Mr. Modi's government has made it an art to appropriate Sardar Patel, Swami Vivekanand, we also have a right to appropriate some of our favorite anchors. But anyway, I'll let you be for the moment. But, to answer your question, I mean, yes, it's a serious question. I mean, Rahul Gandhi, unexpectedly, in my opinion, lost the elections in Amethi. I don't think the Gandhi family expected that kind of a stunning surprise. I have been to Amethi and Raebareli on quite a few occasions. I spent a lot of time there with many of the supporters of the Congress party, including the workers who have campaigned for the Gandhi family over decades. And I believe that despite the result in Amethi last time, Rahul will bite the bullet. I think there are a couple of things that we need to factor in very quickly. One, in Wayanad, he won with a historic number last time. I'm telling you this without even having to bat an eyelid. He's going to have another historic victory in Wayanad again. Where Amethi comes into play is because I think Rahul's confidence was pretty apparent when he said that the BJP is not likely to do so well. I don't want to get into the numbers that he predicted, but clearly the undercurrent is not something that he said as some kind of a rhetoric and oppressor. It is something that I'm feeling it in Maharashtra, where I live, and I'm not just talking about Mumbai city. There is a general sense, that is a sentiment that is hard to discern or is so imperceptible that people are not able to put their hand on the pulse. And I think Rahul Gandhi, by standing from Amethi, which I think he will, the delay is more tactical or strategic, in my opinion. I think when he stands from Amethi, I also feel that along with him, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will stand from Raebareli. Now, these are, let me tell you, even within the Congress, people don't know because these are personal calls. I agree that the Gandhi family has their own way of thinking and they have a right to do that. But even in the Congress, if you ask them today, many people will say, we don't know, don't even ask us to get into
So,
this
so,
very
so, so, so,
hazardous
so, so,
territory.
so when Rahul Gandhi says, as he did at that press conference after
Mhm.
snarling at the reporter who asked him the question, that he will abide by the party's decision, that's
Mhm.
actually disingenuous because you're actually saying they're going to make these calls completely individually.
No, I think that he said because, ultimately, like it or not, there is a certain protocol and a process. Yes, if you notice that even when you know that certain candidates will fight from a certain seat, it's a CEC and, Mr. Venugopal's office or the Congress president who releases the list of people, office bearers who are going to contest an election or the candidates who will fight it. So I think Rahul has actually been very steadfast on that. He's saying, listen, there is a protocol. Let the CEC decide. But obviously, in the case of Amethi, Raebareli, and in some other constituencies as well, the individual does have a significant call in terms of whether they want to fight it or not. So Amethi and Raebareli will be purely a decision of Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. There are going to be people who will tell them fight it. There could be some, Cassandras who will say, already winning from there. If you're not 100% prepared, do you want to take a risk? But I think the risk is worth taking because, Barkha, let me tell you, the day he announces his candidature from Amethi and Priyanka from Raebareli, expect the BJP's machine, and they have the full right to do so, by the way. I have
Okay.
no problem with an aggressive competitor. They will put social media, they will do, Mr. Modi will land it 3 times. They are going to face a stiff competition. But I believe the Gandhis need to galvanize the Congress cadre. More important, the voters in the country, that you are ready to take the bull by the horns.
Okay, let's open this up. Let me bring in Abhijit Iyer at this point. Do you agree with what you've heard so far from Sanjay Jha? This is just timing. The BJP knows it. The Congress knows it. He's going to fight from both places. Or do you think that he opens himself up to two vulnerabilities? In one seat, you're the sitting member of parliament. You're effectively saying you may not survive, being that, I mean, or you may not last as MP because you may leave even if you win, which is likely, let's face it. And you're taking the risk of not necessarily winning in Amethi. So, you're kind of potentially displeasing both people, but he's not the first candidate of any party to contest from two seats.
Right. So, but I kind of agree with Sanjay, but not entirely, and I'll tell you why. The southern states have generally accepted being treated as the spare. Ms. Indira Gandhi also did this with Chikmagalur when, in 70. 78, I think she was kicked out of parliament, and then she had to contest the seat again, and she won from Chikmagalur. And then the moment that particular Lok Sabha ended, she switched back to Raebareli. So I think Wayanad has come to expect this kind of treatment. What interests me in Wayanad, of course, is the CPIM campaigning against him quite vociferously. And there's a reason for it. Last time, the Congress, in fact, did not campaign against the CPIM. The Congress campaigned against the BJP because they were fighting for second place. They knew that if the BJP gets second place, then they're out of the game permanently. Today, what is happening is the CPIM is trying to avoid becoming third place right now, because if they do, they're permanently out of it. And this was told to me then by some certain Congress people who are now in the BJP. So that's what I'm guessing is happening out there. The second issue is I don't think anybody in Wayanad is going to take it very seriously, because leadership seats like this, they come and they go. I don't think Rahul has a chance right now in Amethi, or for that matter, anybody else from the family in Raebareli. We also need to be very clear that these family seats are decisions very much taken at the top. Let's not forget the kind of power Rahul had over the party, even when he was nobody in the party. Do you remember when he tore up that document when Manmohan Singh was prime minister, and then the Congress had to do a 180-degree turn? This is a party that believes in rules for everybody except the first family. When it comes to the first family, they're well and truly above any processes, any laws, anything like that. I don't think anybody else in the party would be allowed to contest two seats. Rahul will. Uh, the third point out here is Wayanad, he will almost certainly win. I don't think there is any doubt about it. Uh, Demographics, unfortunately, whether we like it or not, is destiny, and that Wayanad seat should tell you a lot about the demographics out there, which will lead Rahul Gandhi to win. I think Rahul might have an emotional attachment to going back to Amethi, but the question is, will Rahul forgive Amethi? Because Rahul, from everybody who knew him, used to be a very warm, caring person, and I don't know if it's age or loss that's turned him very bitter. He's in no mood to give quarter, from what I've heard.
I very briefly, you made a reference to demographics. The BJP has targeted him for choosing Wayanad because of a large Muslim population. Is that what you meant?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is now a diminishing Muslim vote bank in a sense. I think Muslims are beginning to vote much more, much less strategically, and much more in a sort of non feudalized manner. Except in places like Kerala, where because of the religious it's almost denominational, like Lebanon in that sense, in
Mm.
Kerala. I think demographics count a lot more in Kerala than they do in UP.
Okay, Dilip, this is your home state. Do you agree with everything that's been said so far? And Abhijit makes the provocative point that the South has always been treated as a spare. It's an ironic comment to hear at a time when one thing the Prime Minister has done, the BJP may not get X number of seats in the southern states, but they have certainly turned the media attention, the public attention to the south. Journalists like myself, we would begin our trips in the north, camp in states like UP. We've now begun our trips in the south. Abhijit says Wayanad's going to be the spare part. He's almost certainly going to go to Amethi, where he's going to, he thinks, lose, and then he's going to come back to Wayanad. Is that how you see what's unfolding? And Dilip, can you unmute yourself, please? Dilip, you're on mute.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think Barkha, the आप chronology समझिए. The chronology is that the way the election phases are also run, the 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 early dates are largely the south. So the reason why you as well as so many leaders are in the south at the moment is not for just one reason, which is the emphasis on the South by the Prime Minister and the BJP, but also because a lot of the crucial seats are going to vote earlier than in the North. That's one. Will Rahul win Wayanad? I think I tend to agree with both Sanjay and Abhijit that he looks like he's well ahead there. Will he contest Amethi? My sense is that Amethi is not something that Rahul is extraordinarily fond of. He feels that there is a symbolism associated with that seat, and that in the interest of the Congress party, and its allies in the India alliance and the importance of UP, he needs to make a possible fight for Amethi. But let me tell you that on the ground, the numbers so far suggest that whatever he may try, the it's more than likely that the BJP will actually increase its vote share and seats in Uttar Pradesh. At the moment, that's my reading based on people I'm advising, parties I'm working with. I see that as far as UP is concerned, the BJP is on a very strong and growing wicket.
So you're saying left to him, you're saying left to himself, Rahul Gandhi would not want to contest Amethi.
Absolutely, he's doing this more like a willing, strangulated, sacrificial lamb.
A willing, strangulated, sacrificial lamb. Sandeep, something we need to also bring into the conversation is Mr. Vadra's very intriguing volunteering of himself as the Amethi candidate, doubling down on it multiple times. Sorry, Dilip, can we unmute Dilip? He's trying to say something. Yeah, Dilip?
Since it's
Dilip?
birthday today of Mr. Vadra, we must all stand up and mark it with respect. Carry on.
Okay, okay, but I still want to talk about why he's talking about being an Amethi candidate, and no better day than his birthday to discuss that. Sandeep, what do you think is going on?
Yeah, first of all, Barkha, I'll just conclude. I have no disagreement with what everybody has said about Wayanad. I think that's for Rahul Gandhi's taking. And the issue really, which is happening between communists and the Congress, the fight is, as Abhijit mentioned, communists would hate to be the third people there. Already, Sashi Tharoor mocks them of that in Trivandrum, so they wouldn't like that to happen. But I think it will be quite suicidal in the longer term if Rahul Gandhi, after winning Wayanad, vacates Wayanad. Because the days of Indira Gandhi are gone, when Congress still had a stronghold up north. Today, if any places they have certain goodwill, which is, carryover, etc., is in the south. And if they really send a signal that they are spare, then you don't know, BJP and others will take it home in the next election, see how they have treated the South, and that will really put paid to the Congress's whatever residual goodwill they have in the South. Now come to Amethi and Raebareli. I will make a very, very, these are two constituencies, by the way. I won't elaborate why. I know very well. That's where I travel a lot due to my work. And I know that those two places, if I were to claim today in my this thing, when I don't travel as much, these are two constituencies where I have the pulse. I would make a very contrarian or surprising thing. Rahul Gandhi, if he at all contests from there, he is going to contest from Raebareli. Raebareli has been the seat of the numero uno, the family leader of the Congress party. It has been there, so it has been Indira Gandhi, it has been Sonia Gandhi, and Rahul would lay claims to the family bastion as the rightful claimant of. And if he stands in Raebareli, I think he has a far better chance of winning in Raebareli than he has of winning in Amethi. Amethi would be, if he loses second time, and which, he definitely would, in my judgment. Smriti Irani has nursed the constituency. Not only Smriti Irani, BJP has nursed it with so many projects, so much investment. I think there, and Rahul Gandhi during these 5 years hardly ever visited Amethi. If he wanted to keep his connection, and now he makes all these statements, Wayanad is my home, Wayanad people are my family, etc., etc. I don't think that will go down well in Amethi. But he may still have the family equity in Raebareli. And in that situation, what you're talking about, if they still want to retain a family toehold, they might make Vadra today the sacrificial, whatever you want to say, and hoping that he will keep the seat warm, the constituency warm, even if he loses, for the family members to make a comeback after a year
Yeah,
or two when the winds change. That's
that's
my
very
reading.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very interesting because Dilip just called Rahul Gandhi the sort of sacrificial lamb, the unwilling or the willing sacrificial lamb. You're saying if we can come out of these pictures now, you're saying that role may actually belong to Robert Vadra. I want to get a brief response from
And
Sanjay
before that,
Jha. Yeah,
Barkha, another point which people sometimes allude to, and there's no confirmation, there are denials. There is also the sibling rivalry between the siblings. Who is the senior, or who really calls the shots? By giving up rivalry, you are actually yielding that mantle that the family's
yeah.
matriarchal or whatever
So
mantle
yeah,
to.
a lot of mysterious, sort of, unexplained dimensions to Mr. Vadra's comments, and it certainly did revive speculation as to whether he was laying claim to his wife's political inheritance. Sanjay Jha, brief response, after which I do want to play out Shashi Tharoor from the campaign trail, going hammer and tongs at the left, and that's something we should look at, the left Congress fault line. But do you agree with 2 points we've heard so far? One, that it's more likely that Mr. Gandhi will go to Raebareli, not Amethi, because he doesn't want to go to Amethi. Almost everybody seems to agree with that. Two, that postpones Priyanka's entry, hence maybe Robert Vadra's comments.
I respectfully disagree with them, Barkha, and I'll tell you quickly what I feel. Number one, where Wayanad is concerned, just don't ignore it. I mean, I have traveled when I was officially traveling for the Congress party in the southern part of India. And I remember telling that from my experience to the G23, that no matter how much you can criticize the Congress, the opposition, the BJP, even some members within the Congress, in the southern part of India, the Gandhis are loved. And I can tell you that is not just Tamil Nadu, Kerala, it's Karnataka, and I've felt it in all these states that I went to. There is the political brand of the Gandhis is enormous in the entire southern India. Let me just kind of take the risk of saying that if Rahul stood from Telangana, Karnataka, he would win it hands down. Frankly, I don't think that's something that we need to really understand, that there is a sharp divide in terms of clearly the love that the Gandhis get from the southern part of India. The second, you alluded in your program, at least some of the panelists did, and they're right, that the left and the Congress battle it out in Kerala and stuff. But that is not for the first time. I mean, it is a very understood agreement. Let me tell you something here, very frankly. I actually applaud both the Sitaram Yechuri and the others in the Congress for being very pragmatic about it. Listen, we are going to go hammer and tongs at each other in Kerala, but we need to really join hands in West Bengal or wherever else. So I don't think that is something that we need to really focus on. But let me come down to the point that you mentioned, that I think Sandip mentioned about Raebareli. Having been to both these places on several occasions, I believe they are just like, they're like part of the same family. The constituencies are actually part of the same family. The workers who work in one go and travel across, even work in the others.
Hmm.
So, there is a bond, there is an emotional connection. And
You're saying it
trust
makes
me,
you're saying it makes no difference which seat Rahul
it
contests on?
doesn't. No,
It
it
does,
doesn't,
and
because
I'll tell you why. One seat is where he lost. So the symbolism
right.
of going to another seat does matter.
No, but here it is. Here it is, right? Rahul is seen by many, and not just within the Congress, but I meet a lot of people, right? It's very easy for upper class elites and the chatterati to say that Rahul Gandhi is not fit to be XYZ. But you'll be surprised as to the kind of adulation and love he gets from many people, which is why I don't agree with Dilip either. That end of day, Rahul is, I know him well enough to tell you this. He's a tough cookie. He's resilient. He's not going to fight Amethi because there is some kind of a Damocles sword hanging over his head. If he fights, he believes he can win.
So
That's a simple thumb rule for all
okay,
politicians.
okay, now Sanjay, I want to bring in Abhijit and Dilip and then Sandeep. Aditi Singh, who used to be with your party, is now the Raebareli BJP MLA. She said on my podcast that she met Rahul Gandhi once and he didn't know how many assembly segments Rahul Gandhi had won in UP. So there are party workers who leave who have a different impression of Mr. Gandhi. There's you who has a different impression. But what you're right about is Rahul Gandhi has earned his spurs in politics. Priyanka Gandhi, whom everybody goes on about, is entirely untested. Rahul Gandhi is still here, defeat after defeat after defeat, or, for the Congress, it's been a very difficult phase. He's still there. He's still there and he's out there in the public domain. Abhijit, is this a Chatterati issue, the Amethi issue?
I think it is a chatterati issue. I think this more comes from the fact that we've got to chat about it because there is no clarity from the Congress. You see, had there been clarity from the Congress, then it wouldn't be a chatterati issue anymore. So we've all got to, use our sources within the Congress and find out who's thinking what. And we're about as accurate as any, parrot fortune teller that you'll meet on the streets of Coimbatore, I think, where you are right now. That
Oh,
said, Barkha,
now
I would like.
now in Wayanad. Now I'm in
Oh, now in
Wayanad.
Wayanad. Sorry,
Yes,
now in
yes, yes.
Wayanad.
Yeah.
And so, I would disagree with Sanjay's Gandhi love hypothesis in the South. And I'll tell you why. The kind of adulation that used to exist in the 80s and 90s does not exist anymore. The problem with social media is it has made everybody familiar. That sort of mystique and distance is no longer there. I was a little kid and my mother was the collector of Cuddalore when I first met Rajiv Gandhi, when he was a MP at that time. And he had come down and the adulation was so much. He's unfortunately, Sam Pitroda didn't do him justice, but his hands would bleed, his cheeks would bleed, because people weren't just shaking hands with him. They would give him really nasty pinches and they would scratch him and things like that. It wasn't that he was a softie. It was, there was this rock star Elvis Presley kind of craze. You don't see that anymore. Even during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, all you saw was kind of polite interest, not the kind of hype. And you don't get that in Tamil Nadu anymore. The kind of rock star thing that, say, MGR had is no longer there. In fact, Rahul Gandhi in Tamil Nadu is a virtual no-show, non-entity kind of thing at the moment. So
Yeah.
disagree on that. And just one last point. I don't think the problem is that Rahul Gandhi is tough. I think everybody can agree that Rahul Gandhi is very tough. The problem is he's not terribly smart.
Okay, let's take that to Dilip Cherian. You said it's Robert Vadra's birthday. Do you have a theory about Robert Vadra being a placeholder, possible candidate in Amethi? A response to Abhijit saying, "Okay, Rahul's tough, but right now he's got to be smart." You're entering. We're on the eve of the first day of voting in this multi-phase election. This is going to be an existential fight for the Congress. Dilip, unmute
Sorry.
yourself, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, I think that as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, contrary to what he himself said, he's going to take the call. I think that he's smart enough to take the call based on more than just symbolism. He certainly is not going to take the call based on the fact that, it's important to do it. It's one-upmanship within the family. I don't think, despite the rumors to the contrary, I don't think that those are the triggers that moves him. I think if he does fight, he will fight where he thinks he has a chance at winning. And more importantly, as I said before, he will do it because his partners in the India alliance, his workers on the ground in UP need that signal. That's one. Second, I think it does matter that he fights from the north. I think it does matter that the Congress is not seen as ceding ground everywhere. And I think it is also important that the Congress reach out to its ally parties in the India bloc to make sure that their candidates win wherever they are. And Rahul has to recognize that besides Mr. Kharge making that call, he's the only other person whose call will be expected.
Do you want to briefly talk about Robert Vadra and why he's volunteered himself to be a Methi candidate?
I think Robert loves this kind of, what shall I say, uh, creating trigger points for people to attack him. I think he's a smart guy and he knows that like a lightning rod, he's drawing some attention towards him. And I would be surprised if it was anything more than just a feint. And let's see whether that works and whether the attention on him will make the surprise announcement of a candidature more exciting.
Sandeep, you want to respond to that? And then I want to play out a snippet of Shashi Tharoor after that. Go ahead, Sandeep.
Just quickly again, staying with my old point, Barkha, from my first-hand knowledge of those two constituencies, you'll notice BJP has invested a lot in Amethi, but they never invested in Raebareli, although it's right next door. They left it on its own, perhaps thinking that that is a Gandhi bastion. So what they've done is they co-opted a Sanjay Singh into BJP, who used to be earlier the Gandhi's local manager. They've got Aditi Singh into BJP over there, but directly they have not intervened much in Raebareli so far. Whereas they have been investing a lot in Amethi. So that is something which they've, and as I told you earlier, Rahul Gandhi hasn't even visited the place in 5 years. There has been some tokenism of visits by Priyanka Gandhi into Raebareli, but even that's not enough. Raebareli people are today talking. Sonia Gandhi has gone all over the country, but she hasn't even come to Raebareli, although there is. But yet, I think there is that sentimental attachment which he can encash. And in entire UP, as Dilip is saying, where the equity of Congress is still low, if there is any place, really speaking, close to being secure, I would still consider Raebareli and nowhere else. And that's it. And Robert Wadra, everybody has commented. And if they have to really put anybody from the family or close to the family into Amethi, they will put him, because they no longer have the Satish Sharma and those Sharma and people to go and be, unless they put Abhijit's friend Supriya Srinate or somebody Srinate.
Okay, okay. We'll talk about that in a moment. I want to look at Sanjay Jha made the point that the left and the Congress, this is par for the course. They're sparring at the state level. They're allies at the national level. Is it that simple? The left is saying here in Wayanad to Rahul Gandhi, why are you here? Why aren't you in the north, where you're really, if you want to fight the BJP, go where the BJP is the formidable force, not here where we are the opponents. But in Thiruvananthapuram, Shashi Tharoor is saying the communists are attacking him more than they're attacking Narendra Modi. And the left's Panyan Ravindran, whom I met, called Shashi Tharoor a Modi Bhakt. So this left Congress fault lines are fascinating. Listen to what Shashi Tharoor said to me about this on the campaign trail.
In the very first period of the campaign, I myself used to say, well, look, it's a three-cornered fight, we're all in with the chance, After a while, it seemed to me the communist campaign had not caught fire. And they seem to be running a rather lackluster campaign. Indeed, most of their attention will be focused on attacking me, which seemed to me a slightly odd position to find myself in when we're both trying to unseat a BJP government in Delhi. But nonetheless, fair enough. That's what they've been doing.
But that's happening in Wayanad also, where they're contesting against Rahul Gandhi, right?
That's right.
What do you make of that?
No, I think Rahul Gandhi is incumbent. He's absolutely entitled to defend his own seat. It's they who have to answer if they want to preach coalition dharma there. Why don't they practice it themselves elsewhere, including here? Well, here I'm fighting a BJP opponent when the BJP has come second twice and the BJP is the most credible alternative to the Congress here. Then they should actually be rallying around the Congress. But instead they're not only campaigning again, but they're actually spending all their energy attacking me rather than attacking the BJP.
You think they don't? You think that they consider you a bigger threat than Rajiv Chandrasekhar, and that's the point?
Yeah, but the fact is, what is the election about? Barkha? It's an election, after all, for who's going to run the government of India in Delhi. It's not an election for who is the nicer guy in Trivandrum.
So ideally, they should not have fielded a candidate against you.
No, I'm just saying, if they really believe,
thank you, sir.
If they really believe what they're saying about Rahul Gandhi, that we're allies, we shouldn't be fighting each other, then that argument applies in spades when the Congress is fighting the BJP. And I'm certainly not supporting their argument with Rahul Gandhi. I think Rahul Gandhi should contest and win, as the voters want him to. But I am certainly contesting the argument that, making the argument that they have no business to preach alliance dharma in Wayanad and come here and undermine an anti-BJP candidate, which is what I am.
Sorry, I was saying it's quite funny, and Shashi Tharoor has a point that this election is a Lok Sabha election. It's about who's going to run the government of India. So it's not a state election. It's not about minor contradictions, Sanjay Jha. What's actually going on here?
Barkha, first and foremost, that thattu dosa looked delicious, although I was disappointed that you are not kind of munching into them. But here is my larger...
I had finished 4 by the time we came to this part of the conversation, I'll have you know, while Tharoor gingerly nibbled at his. But go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barkha, the point is, I think Sashi obviously has to say it because the left and Congress are actually at each other's throats in Kerala, and neither should be unapologetic or defensive about it because they are the principal competitors. You see, even if the BJP were to get whatever 12% or 14% of the aggregate vote share, it is going to be splintered across several constituencies, and I think all the 20 seats are going to be part of the India alliance. But both these parties are going to be in another aggressive contest in the assembly elections 2 years from now. So I think we have to be a little pragmatic and practical about this political reality. For the left, Kerala remains the one state they can still probably win or hope to win in the future. And that is not the case anymore with West Bengal. And you can look at Tripura, etc. But I think largely West Kerala is the one bastion that the left is very proud of. And by the way, please follow the speeches of the Congress leaders. They have also been extremely sarcastic, sardonic, brutal, if not ruthless, about the left. So I think it's a tit for tat, and I think it's fair politics because actually, when the two of them go for each other, it makes the BJP even more marginalized in the entire political contest.
Well, marginalized, yes, but any triangular contest, Abhijit, actually can work to the BJP's advantage. And let's remind our viewers that in Thiruvananthapuram, for example, as Shashi himself said, Sanjay, the BJP was at 31% last time to Shashi Tharoor's 41% of the vote share.
Right,
All the
right.
BJP has to do is to hope that Shashi performs the same and they add another 10% because of the Modi's consistent focus on Kerala. So it's not that simple. When you have two candidates vying for the same anti-BJP vote, you're helping the BJP. Abhijit, let me bring you in at this point. Yeah, sorry, Sanjay, you wanted to say something? Yeah,
Yeah,
Sanjay?
I just want to make one point before Abhijit comes in. I agree with you, but this peculiar triangular contest is probably more applicable only to Sashi's constituency, not across the other 19 Lok Sabha constituencies.
Okay, Abhijit, go ahead.
So this is classic resource competition, right? This is what are you going to do? Imagine the South accounted for almost 30 of the 52 seats, more, almost 35 of the 52 seats that the Congress won the last time. 19 from Kerala, 10 from Tamil Nadu, 6, 7 from Karnataka, I think it was. So it was beyond 50% of the seats came from the South. So it is as important for the Congress as it is now for the CPIM. This is the big problem out there, number one. Number two, if Shashi is quite right, but he also he knows this quite well. How if we're both ganging up on Sandeep, say me and Dilip are both ganging up on Sandeep, it can't be that Dilip and me keep saying, oh, look at Sandeep, he doesn't come in good lighting and he's graying, etc., etc. I also have to take a dig at Dilip and how he is bald phobic because he has hair and how he is ocular phobic because he wears glasses. And Dilip has to come at me, for being follicularly phobic, for being bald, etc., etc. I have to go at him. He has to go at me. There
I
is
mean,
no
I
other
mean,
way out of it.
you do know that you're using words that are bigger than the ones that Shashi Tharoor uses. I mean, at this point, you're going to say defenestrate, which is what he said on the campaign, and I said, do you actually use these words in real life? I thought they were just for effect.
I think the only person defenestrable right now is Sanjay because he's sitting in front of a fenestra, so to say. So, but the thing here is this is so natural. It will always help the BJP. The BJP thrives in an environment like this because remember, we often talk about Asaduddin Owaisi being that kind of third person who comes in and delivers that crucial, or rather steals away a crucial part of the vote that allows the BJP to edge ahead. People don't realize the BJP has had these third candidates who take away votes across the board. Most of them you won't even know about. And this is not new. It's not really the BJP doing this. The Congress has done this. In my state, Tamil Nadu, the ADMK and DMK always do this. It's nothing new. It's always going to happen.
Okay, before we get Dilip and Sandeep to come in with last comments, let's hear Smriti Irani's own anticipation of what Rahul Gandhi is going to do, very briefly, and then I'll come to Dilip and Sandeep for closing comments. Listen in.
हम जानते हैं कि 26 तारीख के बाद राहुल गांधी यहाँ आएंगे। हम ये भी जानते हैं कि उन्होंने हर 2 दिन में अपने वक्तव्य में इस बात को प्रदर्शित किया है कि वायनाड ही उनका परिवार है। हिंदी में कहावत होती है, लोग रंग बदलते हैं, हम लोगों को रंग बदलते देख पाए हैं, लेकिन परिवार बदलते पहली बार देखे।
Okay, so that's a fair question, Dilip Cherian. If Wayanad is Rahul Gandhi's home, Smriti Irani says, "Bhai, why are you leaving your home then? आप कितनी बारी परिवार बदलेंगे?"
It's a fair question indeed. And I don't think that Rahul has a good answer to that, except that, to my mind, the way Rahul Gandhi is functioning, the way his psyche has been in terms of what we have seen, he is equally at home in both places. And therefore, if he's made a choice of Wayanad, I'm I'm quite clear that he will continue with Wayanad even if he does win either Raebareli or Amethi.
Okay, that's a big one. Can you elaborate on that? You're actually saying, you see, the assumption is that he's going to lose or he could lose Amethi. And so Wayanad's a safe seat. You're saying, assuming he wins both, he'll keep Wayanad. Can you explain that?
I'm meaning this is my speculation based on my understanding of how he behaves. He's not going to be rattled by Smriti Irani's comment. I'm just saying that if if there is a natural fit for him, he he seems to fit more easily into the Wayanad mold. And though Sandip is as familiar with the streets of Wayanad, I think that Rahul feels that in the dance of democracy, this is the stage he has chosen.
Okay, Sandeep, you want to respond to that as we close?
No,
You've
you know,
muted
he's a
yourself. There you are. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
no. I don't agree in terms of the Rahul Gandhi being. You're talking as if Rahul Gandhi is spoiled for choice. I don't think today he is spoiled for choice. That he can say I'll go to any constituency in the country, and I'll win. He's not even sure if he goes back to Amethi or Raebareli, he can win. If one were Rahul Gandhi was serious, while he could have made all the right overtures for Wayanad, he should not have gone overboard to say, "This is my family, this is my home," da da da. Because after that, if he comes to Amethi, etc., people will say, "Why here? You've come back here like not to please us." And so I think if he does that, I think then again is a typically what Smriti Irani kind of thing, and we don't. That's not impossible for Rahul. He's quite capable of doing that, but it's not going to be politically, what should we say, astute for him to do that over there. But I think we should close by saying he's got a more than a fair chance of winning Wayanad, and I hope if he doesn't do the mistake of coming and contesting from Amethi.
All right. You think it would be a mistake? Sanjay Jha, you have a quick last word. Can we unmute Sanjay, please? Yes, go ahead.
A short word, Barkha. I think we probably don't respect our voters enough. The voters are very mature, Barkha. Let me tell you that Rahul Gandhi is not the first political candidate who will be fighting from two constituencies, right? Even Mr. Modi has done that. And so have many other leaders in the past. And people who vote understand that my leader has won from two, he has to give up one. Nobody takes that as a betrayal. Trust me, yes, there will be some disappointment, but people don't treat that as a betrayal or some kind of a Vishwas Ghat as we're making it out to be.
No, Sanjay, people never do that. I totally buy your point, and several people do that, but several people also don't go overboard to say, "This is my home, this is my family, I will be with you till death do us, make us part," and things like that. If you say that, that's the whole problem. People, I think
Yeah,
that is
that's
where.
fair.
See, when Modi also came to Varanasi, he didn't say, "I'm abandoning Baroda." He said that here, "Mujhe Ganga Ma ne bulaya hai, isliye I have come," etc. And then he went back to Vadodara and said that, "You've given me lots of love," etc. But he never said that, "I'm never going to leave you. Gujarat is my home. Gujarat is my Ma Mati Manush," or whatever it is. And, that is it. A lot of people do that. That kind of hedging is done politically. But only thing is, I'm saying is that he didn't have had to, go that far.
I think we all expect or can agree that Rahul Gandhi is going to contest unwillingly, kicking and screaming, some seat from Uttar Pradesh, whether Raebareli or Amethi. I think that much we can agree on. The rest is speculation, as Abhijit said. We're chatting because we don't know. And I think the Congress is buying time. It doesn't want Wayanad's election to be distracted by a parallel announcement of UP, which would then turn the media attention. I think we haven't heard a satisfactory theory about Robert Vadra and what he was trying to do, but we'll find out soon enough. For the moment, I'm going to say thank you. It's been an interesting conversation. As always, Abhijit, Dilip, Sanjay, Sandip, always a pleasure. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of you, I hope, as we travel through India and look at all of these very interesting contests that are taking place. Thank you, gentlemen, and have a great evening. Thank you. And that is it on this edition of Dhabas of Democracy. We are in Wayanad. This is Rahul Gandhi's seat, but it's one where the left's Annie Raja is taking him on, even asking what he's doing here. Remember, we have already traveled from Kanyakumari to Thiruvananthapuram, from Thiruvananthapuram to Coimbatore, from Coimbatore here to Wayanad, and we will continue these travels through the length and breadth of India. We urge you all to become a member of our community. Sign up to become a Mojo member. It will give you an opportunity to get first access to many of our interviews and reports, but also to place questions directly to the guests that we meet. And also, of course, we'll have a chance to get to know you better. Thank you, as always, so many of you tuning in evening after evening, and see you tomorrow and see you soon. Namaskar and hello everyone. Welcome to a ride through the heart and the soul of India. क्योंकि जब इलेक्शन सीजन आता है तो कौन जीता, कौन हारा, कौन आगे, कौन पीछे, ये बातचीत तो होती ही रहती है. But it's also a time for travel and meeting people and getting to know your own country better. So, welcome to the Dhabas of Democracy, where every bite tells a story, where every conversation will spice up your day. Experience the masala, the flavor, the swad of this election with us as we take a unique road trip from the south to the north of India, traveling thousands of kilometers to bring you the flavor of this election.
इलेक्शन सर पर है, वोटर अपना मन बना रहे हैं. ऐसे में आपको चाहिए सही फैक्ट, सही ज्ञान, सही नॉलेज. इसी कड़ी में मोजो स्टोरी लेकर आ रहा है एक खास कार्यक्रम, बैलेट की बात. मैं हूं पॉलिटिकल रिसर्चर कार्तिकेय बत्रा और मैं चाहता हूं आपके दिन के केवल 2 मिनट. कैंडिडेट्स, पार्टीज, अलायंसेस, इश्यूज, इन सब पर होगी बात. और होगा रोज आपका एक छोटा सा पॉलिटिकल टेस्ट. स्पेशल प्राइजेस फॉर दोज हु आर द बेस्ट. तो बैलेट की बात, कट द नॉइज, सिर्फ सच और फैक्ट की वर्ड.